just to tell you, we are in the interest group evaluation of research. I guess you are here for that purpose. The title is RDA role in the evaluation of research landscape. And here it's a reminder of our guiding principles for everybody to follow during the meetings. So there is a link to the document note sharing, the collaborative note sharing document, and you have a link in the chat. And so the agenda is the one which is in the collaborative document. We will go through a short review of the group's aim and activities, because we know that we always have new people showing up during the plenaries. And so if you have never heard about the group, you're very welcome. And we will try to explain you what we do, what we aim at, and what we have done. And if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask them, and we will try to answer at best. Then we will go in more details to the group currents and foreseen activities. We have our first output, which is out as a draft for comments. Then we have another activity, which is mapping our activities with what CORA is doing in its working groups, and we will discuss this. And we will see whether there are proposals for other areas of activity. So don't hesitate to use the note-taking document if you have comments or contributions in addition to the discussion. We really use these documents, and then we will finish the next steps by discussing shortly the next steps. So the short review of the aims and activities for so far. So the objectives of the group is to advocate for fair data and software as research outputs within research evaluation frameworks. We all know that these frameworks are evolving, and we want what is the core of RDA activity to be taken into account in this evolution. We know this evolution is really critical for open science. A key objective is there are a number of groups in the RDA which are producing outputs or having activities which are relevant to evaluation of research. And we will have a view of some of them in the following. But the idea of this interest group is to coordinate the relevant activities in RDA and to liaise with other initiatives, in particular CORA, which is global, but also other initiatives. So the timeline of what we have done, we went through 2 BOFs, and then we submitted the charter in May last year. 1 year ago, it was endorsed. And you have here a link to the webpage. You know that the website of the RDA is being refurbished. And so for the moment, there is not much information on it, but we will go back to it as soon as it will be possible, in particular to put information about what has happened during the last months. So we had a stakeholder forum meeting. The stakeholder forum meeting is to gather representatives from the RDA groups we have identified as relevant, and also external initiatives. And there was a kickoff meeting at the last plenary, and you have a link to the meeting notes. So since the last plenary, we had a pre-plenary meeting on the 29th of April, and you have also a link to the meeting notes. And I will go back to it in a minute. And then we have a draft of a first interest group output, which is about RDA role in the evaluation of research. And the objective for this meeting is to gather your comments, to update the draft, and then to submit it shortly to request for comment. So we had discussed at P21 about gathering use cases, and this is stalled for the moment. We tried to get support to it, and it did not work. And we think that we have to understand better, in particular, the possible liaison with COARA before going back to that. So the pre-plenary meeting, we had a presentation about COARA by Eva Mendes, and we discussed the fact that we want to map COARA working groups with RDA activities so that we can build liaison between the relevant RDA groups and the relevant COARA working groups. Anne Cambon-Thompson, who is with us today, and Laurence Mabille presented us the output they are preparing in the sharing rewards and credit interest group. So you have a link to her slides, and the idea of that output is guidance to a wide range of stakeholders with reference to current initiatives. So, and we also decided, we were proposed by colleagues from Helmholtz to present the output they prepared in their task groups about indicators for data and software products. And you can find what they have done in the slides with links to the document which is online from their work. It was really interesting to see what happens in this kind of initiatives, and which is at the level of research organization. And it was also interesting to see that they have used the FAIR data maturity model and the FAIR for research software RDA recommendations to build up their maturity model, their own maturity model. So this was really interesting. And I understand they will connect with relevant RDA groups during the plenary. So Anne, can you tell us when you think you will submit your, do you have an idea of the scheduling of submitting your output for comment?
For the Shark group, yes.
Yes.
Yes, we have plans. We hope before the end of this month.
Okay. So
post plenary, because we were too short before the plenary, but it should be by that moment. Yes.
Okay. And is it okay that when you have the output submitted or visible by people, you tell us and we disseminate?
Of course, yes. We can send it to you at the same time as the secretary, for example.
Thank you. So I will. No, we need to have a page, the web page, for the request for comments.
So as soon as it is, and then you can disseminate, and we are very grateful if you disseminate it outside the RDA also. Yeah.
So in any case, I think we will try to use the channel towards COARA in particular, and we will see what happens. But they told us they agree to disseminate information in their group. So we will see how this can work.
Okay, thank you very much.
And maybe we can use the national chapters, Fabien. Fabien is one of the leads of the French COARA national chapters. So this is why I talked to him.
Yes, thank you very much. Effectively, I think it should be a great idea to use the national chapters to disseminate the discussion that you have in the RDA. And I would like to add that I'm very interested by the work that is done by this group. So I would like to propose to try to collaborate at one stage, because if you are looking on the COARA working groups, you will see that there's nothing much about about data and the way to make a real assessment for the career for the researchers. So I think your work should be very, very important to help any of the other working groups to add this important topic.
Yes.
I think that we will go back to what happened during the pre-plenary interest group meeting in a minute. And we discussed with RDA and with the Secretary General of RDA during the meeting. So I think we all understand we have to establish an appropriate liaison and to share the results, of course. So if you talk to the other national chapters, we can use you as a channel for dissemination. Thank you, Fabian.
I totally agree, and I will be very pleased to be the vector of your dissemination.
One of the vectors.
Yes, hopefully.
So what we will do, maybe if there are I see no question in the chat, so I will go back to the presentation if I find it. And I will go into more details into what we did during the what is going on à partir. Voilà. So we will go back to Quora soon, but the first topic in the core of the agenda was our first output, our own one, RDA role in the evaluation of research landscape. So it was in our charter, the first output we were supposed to prepare. So the idea of this is really to map the RDA activities relevant to research evaluation and assessment. And so we had a discussion during the stakeholder forum, and it seemed that to contribute to a typology of the activities useful in evaluation of research is also useful, which can, so we have a set of items in which we organized the RDA contribution, the RDA activities contributing to evaluation of research or possibly contributing. And yesterday I was presenting in a meeting which was organized by La Referencia and colleagues from Liber. And I got the remark that the list of items was an interesting contribution because it helps to organize the discussion. So we have this document, which is here for your comments, and you have a link in the agenda. And the aim is to include it in the collection, which is called RDA Value 4. And I have a copy of something which is on the RDA webpage. You have RDA provides value for, and we would like to propose the Secretariat to include this document into this collection when it has gone through research for comment, request for comment. So the typology, its possible metrics and criteria, stakeholder representation, research outputs and their relevant properties, disciplinary aspects, and we also have a big bunch of groups which are working on support activities to the sharing of data. And we also have a list of these groups because they support activities contributing to the evolution of the ecosystem. And they have to be aware of the evolution of the evaluation of research to fit their activities to that aims also, to those aims also. So I have a list for some of these criteria. For metrics and criteria, there is, of course, data usage metrics and sharing rewards and credit. The group Anne is co-chairing. Being discussed, there is a new group which is proposed, which has a meeting during one or two meetings during this plenary, which is understanding and capturing the usage of digital research infrastructure. And it is possibly of interest for evaluation of research to go into these lines. And I will participate in one of the meetings. I don't know if there is someone from this group here today. It's not a good time for the Australian colleagues, and I guess Stephanie Ketters will be in the repeat meeting of this meeting. So, stakeholders, we have, of course, the Founders Forum, the Organizational and Regional Assembly, and we have, I think that early career and engagement, the interest group, is really key for all these activities, because we are all, not me because I am emerita now, so I am not under evaluation anymore, but at all stages of a career, there is an evaluation, but it is still more important for early career people. And so we need to make sure that what happens fits with what they need, so that their activities are fully recognized. And we have also a group, I see that Ayan is here, data policy standardization and implementation, which gathers publishers and other relevant stakeholders for this kind of work. And then research outputs, we have software source code. For some disciplines, physical samples and collections in the research data ecosystem is really important, and it is very often not fully properly taken into account in evaluation. And we have also about research output, the FAIR data maturity model and the FAIR for research software, which are providing desired characteristics for data and software, and as exemplified by the Helmholtz task force, they can possibly be used for working on quality indicators. So they are in between, I think, this category and the possible metrics and criteria, because they can feed the possible metrics and criteria category. Then disciplinary aspects, there are many disciplinary groups in the RDA, and there are several books about new disciplines. And of particular importance for us, there is a new group which is being discussed as an interest group about ambassadors and RDA ambassadors and champions, which is derived from the ambassador program of the European RDA project. And so this could be really a focal point of our interaction with disciplinary aspects. And again, we are in touch with them, and we will be in their meeting to say that. They are working on their charter, and we would like to say that we are a use case for the group, basically. So your feedback is welcome. We have a draft, and we send a link to the draft to the mailing list of the group. Well, we posted a message since there are no more mailing lists. And one colleague made a very detailed reading of the wording, and thank you. I don't think she's here, but thanks to her. Please have a look, and it's about wording, but it's also about content. So we would like to submit the text to RFC on June 15. And so your input is welcome. I just wanted to show you the document, if I can find it on my crowded screen. Yes. So you see, there are general discussion at the beginning, and then the different groups, RDA groups, are gathered by categories. And the one I did not discuss is the groups which are on support activities, and of course there are many. and we have to understand how we liaise to them when needed, because there are many groups in the RDA which are potentially useful to support the evolution of evaluation of research, both by enabling researchers to go towards open science, and also by facilitating the technical aspects. So here it is. Any comment?
No comments in chat, Francois.
No, I see nothing. Don't hesitate if you have anything to contribute, or if you have any question, don't hesitate also. So if there is no comment, I will go to the next step in my talk. Get this here. So then what was discussed during the pre-plenary meeting in April was mapping of COARA working groups with RDA activities. And so we got a presentation. Eva Mendes made a presentation of what COARA is currently doing. And she gave us the list of the groups. And so what we did here is to extract in the slide you see there are 13 groups here. And so there are some which are not so possibly linked to RDA activities. You see we have one about multilingualism and language biases in research assessment. Well, multilingualism is in the strategy of the RDA, the current strategic plan of the RDA. But to my knowledge, there is no currently activities in the RDA about that in groups. So there are groups which are less relevant currently to RDA activities, but there are some which are really on the spot. And in particular, the group, they also understand the importance of early career, and they say early and mid-career researchers, assessment and research culture, and it's very important to speak about research culture. So it is very clear that this working group of COARA, we have to find a way to make them liaise with our early career and engagement interest group. Reforming academic career assessment, I think it is well understood that there are key disciplinary aspects in that. And so this is where our disciplinary groups, and in particular, we hope the future ambassador group could be of interest. And again, of course, early career and engagement. Responsible metrics and indicators, they are already in touch with data usage metrics. And it is clear that the SHARC output will be of interest also. And again, I have put early career and engagement because they have their word. They are to be allowed to have their word in the discussion. Then there are things, there is another group which already has a link to RDA built, which is Ethics and Research Integrity Policy in Responsible Research Assessment for Data and Artificial Intelligence, which is strongly linked with Artificial Intelligence and Data Visitation Working Group of the RDA. And on the disciplinary aspects, there is biomedical disciplines, bioadministrative reforms and governance. And I think it fits very well with the working group which works on rising fairness in health data and health research performing organizations. So we have already things which are going on, and we have to to go back to Coara to see how to organize this liaison and to discuss with RDA groups also. So if you go to the note-taking document, the collaborative note-taking document, I will show it here. Where is it? Here at the end of the document, we have, it's not at the right place. So it should be above the agenda for the second meeting, but you can go just after the agenda. I will move that and it will work. So go to the draft mapping. It's shown here in the agenda. We have here a complete list of Coara working groups. So it's 13 groups, 13 Coara groups. And the initial mapping, which I just discussed, with the possibility to add comments. And our colleague from the artificial intelligence group already put detailed comments on the ethics and research integrity policy. So you are very welcome to add, if you think that there are RDA groups which could be put in liaison with one of the Coara working group, please, you can include them in the table now or later during the plenary or after the plenary, a few days after the plenary, but feel free to include additional groups here, because for the moment, it's just a very draft list of liaisons that we have built. So we will go again through the list of RDA groups, but for the groups you know them better than us, and please indicate them in the list here. And I think Andrea will see that we have put early career and engagement at different places, because we think, as I said, we think it's very important. Fabien?
Yes, I have a question. I hear that you, RDA, has a contact with the ESF Secretariat,
Yes.
who assure the Secretariat of Coara. Do you have a feedback of this first meeting or not yet?
They participated in the meeting.
Okay.
They attended the meeting, so they are fully aware of what we do. And
Okay.
they are also member of the stakeholder forum, but they participated in the meeting.
Okay, that's a good point. Erzsébet
was attending the meeting with Eva.
Okay,
So
good,
we had
excellent.
people from the, I don't know how it is called, the science board,
The steering
board, yes.
board, the steering board.
The steering
Yes.
board, but we also have people from the secretariat.
Okay, excellent.
We are in touch with them. So this is why what they say is that they will not be able to oblige the Coara groups to come to us, but they can disseminate information, and then we can contact. I have begun to attend some of the Coara working groups meetings, and so we can liaise that way, basically.
Okay, good.
And there are also members which are members of RDA and members of these task groups.
Of course, yeah.
Working groups of Coara, so there are liaisons. Some of the liaisons are fully natural, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Any other question or comment? Yes, the mapping table is linked. Thanks, Amy. So if there are, so please have a look and think about the groups you know, so that we have a more complete list to think about. So we have then to discuss the possible areas of activity for the future. So, as I said, we would like to continue the mapping. But this also means we have to understand better the work performed by the COARA working groups to identify additional relevant activities. We had a discussion about what they mean by infrastructure, because there is a group about infrastructure, and it's not exactly what we call an infrastructure. So we have to understand better to do a better mapping. So then we have to understand how to establish or reinforce the liaison between the COARA working groups and the relevant RDA groups and their outputs. So another thing we wanted to propose is regular meetings of a group, which could feature RDA groups and the work done on other initiatives, in particular, but not only COARA. You have seen our plenary meeting. It was on purpose. We had a discussion around what COARA is doing. And we also had a presentation from one of the RDA groups and an external initiative which contacted us to ask whether they could present. And we invited them to talk. And so we think that we could have regular meetings of that kind, which are good to share information, because these meetings are fully open. And people don't need to be RDA members to participate, and they can be disseminated by COARA, for instance. And COARA members who are interested can participate.